Hello, I'm the official name reader. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today we're looking over the very last Pokemon in Kanto, Mew. Alright, we're gonna go over these two together. So, Gygus, I feel like we talked about this just recently. I use it for, my Gengar. There was some other suggestion that someone said, and I was like, yeah, I guess it could work. And I feel like it was Mewtwo, but I feel like that's also wrong. So, again, I don't necessarily think about Mew as a fetus Pokemon or even a cat Pokemon. To me, it's just like, it's a Mew. It's a thing. It's different and unique and whatever. So, I just don't draw that parallel, but we've mentioned it in the show before, so I'm bringing it up here. And then the other one I wanted to acknowledge was Eve, and I am totally fine with the logic behind that, but if you didn't explain that to me, I wouldn't have got it at all. That's basically it. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but there's a strange amount of Mew puns, so Mussolini, and then we also saw Muse paper. I don't know why, but this is a thing that's happening. We'll go over this again because it was in the Mewtwo thing for sure. I remember that copycat. I don't know if I would say it is more or less effective on Mew than it would be Mewtwo, so I'll acknowledge it in case you feel the need, but yeah. Alright, I'm gonna acknowledge this one because I've seen it like 4 times right now when I didn't feel like it was worth acknowledging, but because it just, it's like, hey, pay attention to me, fine, I notice you. I don't care about the Japanese name. Okay. I've seen Nova like 3 times, and I was like, yeah, just ignore it. Another part was like, well, talk about it since we've talked about it before with other Pokemon. I think it's weird because I think of Nova more like a fire-type nickname than anything. But everyone's like, yeah, but Mew is space, so therefore Nova. And I'm just like, okay, that's great. But I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. But like, if it's a thing where everyone's talking about it, I'll at least acknowledge it, I guess. So, I'm trying to figure out a way to explain how I feel about this one without sounding stupid. But I do like Prometheus. I think that's the best one we've seen thus far. And, like, my mind goes to Prometheus and Bob, which was like a really weird claymation short that I remember watching when I was younger. But this is talking about like Greek god made things out of clay and shit. And I'm like, I don't know why, but just the name Prometheus to me feels a little bit more extraterrestrial, and because I refuse to identify Mew as a cat fetus, thinking of it as an alien to me fits a little bit better, so I feel like just that name works. So you could also use it for the other Pokemon whose name I can't pronounce, the Behemoth guy, or Deoxys, but for the sake of it, we can acknowledge it for Mew too. Mew as well, excuse me. Alright, I guess I can acknowledge this, because I was even thinking about saving it for the ending, but going with the cat theme, I do feel like there are some specific nicknames you could use that could be applied to any sort of cat Pokemon, so Catnip isn't bad. I've also considered like Meow Mix or Hello Kitty, and I remember saying these during the Meowth episode. I actually kind of like DNA Angel. Like, that's really weird, but I actually really like that one. I mean, I like they're trying to take wordplay here with Genevieve and Changeling. You'd have to capitalize them in order to get it across, but I actually really like DNA Angel, and that's just strange. Mystique, we went over that with Ditto. I don't really have an opinion as far as how well it'll fit Mew in this case, so I'm just going to leave it be. Okay, so that's the bottom of Google. I kind of didn't really have any expectations, and the thing I thought was the most interesting was how many people, especially in this thread, said things like, I've never had a Mew before. So as a result, like, the amount of people who probably are looking at this video are probably doing it solely out of entertainment purposes and not trying to find a nickname for their Mew because they probably don't have that. So that was a thing I didn't consider before hitting record. But hey, let's finish off with checking the spreadsheet. I don't really have any sort of opinion on any of this. I don't really think any of them are interesting or good or whatever, so there goes that. The two that I thought were best were Prometheus and DN Angel. I do not nickname my legendary, so I don't have a personal recommendation for you. Those are the two I like the most out of everything we saw, but I guess if I had one recommendation would be, out of all of the links, I think this one was the least useless. Like, it didn't really have anything that I felt the need to highlight, but it had a bunch of things that went in a certain direction that you could look at and be like, oh, well, what if I do it within this style? Like Mystic, Dream, Spirit, Phantom, Mirage. I don't think any of those are good, but it's at least has a certain style to the suggestions provided that you could look at and maybe get an idea for yourself. That's that. Now, with this being the end of Kanto, I do want to make one other video, and I will post it after this to let you guys know what's going to happen next. But, yeah, thanks. You have any ideas for Mew, any suggestions, put them in the comments below, and let's see what's going on.